Hello, 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 thank you so much for joining me once again. My name is still Brian, this is still my channel, and today, for the first time in probably like a month plus, we are going to be diving back into Scarlet Hollow. This is a game that has become near and dear to my heart as we have played it over, some months on the channel that we've done so far. It's been very entertaining. Love a good visual novel, especially a choice-based one, like with Batman and with why am I forgetting the name? Life is Strange. Like, those are also choice-based games, but like different mechanics and stuff. So it's wild to see like a whole different path you can take there. But at the same time, I'm also trying not to play through this too quickly because this game technically isn't finished yet, as I've mentioned before. I think episodes 5 and 6 are still coming, but they might be towards the end of this year or sometime in 2026. So I'm kind of like trying to space this out a little bit, just to kind of make sure that we're not kind of overstepping. But at the same time, we've done a lot of Lab Rat, we've done a lot of Me Side. I figured it would be a refreshing change of pace to come back to this one instead. So, we have finished 3 episodes. Depending on how long this takes, I may make this into 1 or 2 episodes, just to, try to space this out a little bit. But we are going to go ahead. I appreciate the opportunities to join the Discord and follow on Blue Sky, but I'm not going to do that. However, I will see a recap. We'll just do episode 3, because episode 3 was a chonky episode. Lot happened. And it's been a while since we have gone through it. So as you ready to leave, Janie approaches from the far side of the kitchen. Tabitha remains between the two of you, impatiently tapping her foot. Oh, Snowy Nerdy, before we go, I'm just going to kind of run through this. I'm not going to do voices for the recaps. I heard about what happened last night. I mean, I heard about it before Miss Tabitha mentioned it just now, and then I heard it again. I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry you got caught up in that. I think this is referring to the mine collapse where one of the teenagers involved got their leg crushed and had to be amputated or something like that. I've been praying for Oscar and poor little Rosalina. They're such sweethearts. Couldn't have happened on nicer people. Morning, is the new blend ready? Of course. So if you'd like to keep Miles company, Tabitha and I will be in just a minute. Oh, excuse me. Wait, you're Snowy Nerdy, aren't you? My name is Bo. I'm Duke's boy. It's a pleasure to meet you. The policeman told me you saw what happened to my daddy. So he is the son of the person that accidentally killed himself in the woods with a shotgun in episode 1. Or I guess rather that we let die because we wanted to save Gretchen the dog there. And I emphatically stand by that decision. Anyway, with that, breakfast is served. The mayor is also a dog. You can tell this dog is the mayor from the little sash and fancy top hat. There's a regal air about him, almost as if he knows the position of authority he has been elected to. We don't know anything about the dog mayor, but we know it's a dog mayor. Before you can get up to your companions, you're intercepted by a nervous man with a cross around his neck. Sounds like old Gretchen and the mayor may have some unresolved issues, wouldn't you say? I'm Pastor Daniel. I take it you're Snowy Nerdy. Everyone's been buzzing about you. I'm so sorry about your aunt, but I'm sure she's in a better place now. If you'd ever like to discuss your beliefs, my door is always open. That pastor, by the way, is also apparently gifted with the ability to speak to animals, which I'm curious about how it would have gone down if we hadn't selected that ability at the start of the game. But as it was, I also think it's cool that like we took basically the only path that actually let you have that dialogue option. Anyway, basement is what you might expect out of a tortured artist, this guy who spends all his time confined to a studio. Discarded canvases line its edges, while trash and sketches leak out from their piles in the corners of the room, hiding the bare cement floor. Ghoulish faces coat the walls in paint, sneering out at their creator. Your mom is so scary. She can be a little intense, kind of overprotective, which I guess makes sense. Anyways, make yourselves comfortable. You'll have to forgive the mess I've been distracted. Haven't been cleaning much. Dinner's already laid out. Dinner roll, spaghetti, and a light salad. Kanika anxiously picks at her food. Stella is nervously talkative, and Reese is suddenly quiet and tense. His shoulders tight as his mother perches on the chair next to his. Dr. Kelly, the mother, eyes all of you with a sharp, fierce gaze. So we were talking about maybe watching a movie sometime this week while Snowy Nerd is still in town. We'll have to see how you're feeling. I can handle a movie, Doc. Yeah, well, just sit downstairs in the dark. Reese is used to that. I'm sure he'll be okay. You're always overestimating how much you're able to do, Reese. This is why you keep getting sick. If I get sick, so what? It's not like that's ever gonna change. I'm sick every day, and I'm not getting better. I don't want to spend the last few miserable years of my life holed up in the basement alone just because seeing my friends has been deemed too strenuous. I'm an adult, for God's sake. Can't believe I have to ask for permission from my mom just to have friends over. By the way, came to mind to bring up as well. I will go ahead and mention this, kind of, the game gives you this warning every time it opens up. This is a horror game, not for the faint of heart. Some flashing lights, but I think that was kind of the main warning that they gave in terms of, like, actual content warnings. But I am passing that content warning along to you as I try to make a point to. Reese stops mid-sentence, wincing in pain and wrapping himself in his arms. Don't say things like that. I'm doing everything I can to try and fix. Silence as Dr. Kelly's eyes shoot open. Reese? Reese abruptly pulls himself from the table and leaves. Okay, so now we are at the point of the recap where kind of the most stuff happened. This is where we kind of did the haunted house exorcism type deal. Hey, you're just in time. Rosalina's situated in the back room. Alexis is going to keep her company while we hopefully get this all sorted out. Hey, I hope I'm not too late. Have I missed any creepy paranormal stuff? Oscar and Kanika startle as the door swings open. Hold it, you're not taking my cousin along on any more of your little hijinks with an X without me. Whoa! This is where I've seen it. It appears on top of the stain. Oh yeah, the trap door. Stella pulls back the cover, revealing a hatch. The floor around it stained in reddish brown. I'm going for it. And that's when things went awry. Wait, do you hear music? Yeah, so everybody got possessed except myself and Tabitha because we are, I guess, the main members of the family that they're antagonizing. Movement stirs as figure cloaked in shadows rises to attention. Stella, there you are. I would have found you sooner, but the resident clearly doesn't want me here. It doesn't seem to have the same issue with these miserable little parasites. Bottom feeders always manage to slip through the cracks, don't they? The sins of the father are to be laid upon the children, which are us. One of you must forfeit, doesn't matter which. BS. You and Tabitha come to an basement, a mound of packed dirt in front of you. Your friends are nowhere to be seen. Their Sybil remains standing on the stairwell as if she's been patiently waiting for you to get up. So basically that whole, possession scene ended with us put on trial and arguing our way out of giving up either of our lives or souls or whatever they wanted us to give up. The spirit is gone and the two of you are back and both of you are whole. I have to admit this is quite an unexpected outcome because we are awesome here. Excellent work, Snowy Nerdy. That's me. Sorry, I can't talk right now. See you later. Probably haunted by being possessed, which is reasonable. Hurries off down the road. Before I go, Sybil places a hand on your arm. I'm sure you have questions after everything you saw tonight, but let's not get into it here. I think everyone could use a little rest and relaxation, yourself included. If you swing by the tea room sometime tomorrow, say early afternoon, you and I can have a little chat. I'll see you then, Snowy Nerdy. You don't even notice yourself entering the guest room and falling into bed. Suddenly you're just there, buried under your family's musty covers, and the spirit of Charles Shaw Jr. has been put to rest, but disaster still looms over the town of Scarlet Hollow. That is where we left off. Still, tonight was a good night, and you fall asleep with a gentle, well-earned smile on your face. Now we re-enter the world and wake up. You open your eyes. It's a new day. Last night seems so far away. You can almost pretend the horrors you witnessed in the annex were nothing but a nightmare, chased away by the harsh morning light. An involuntary shudder runs down your spine, but your thoughts are interrupted by the buzz of your phone on the nightstand. Hey, have you heard from Stella? I haven't been able to get a hold of her. Thought she might have at least checked in with you. You check your messages. There's nothing from Stella. Oh no. Let's call her. I'm guessing she'll pick up. Or she won't pick up, rather. Oh no, she does pick up. Hey, what's up? Hi, just kidding. I'm not able to... Oh, okay, there we go. I'm not able to come to the phone right now. This is actually a recording of my voice. It isn't really me. Technology, huh? Anyways, leave a message. Or don't. I never check this thing. The mailbox is full and can't accept messages at this time. Okay? Let's text her. That way you didn't come after you. How's my favorite cryptid hunter? I'm just gonna tell her I'm worried about her, because I am. Text me as soon as you get the chance. I don't know why we're waiting. She'll get back to us if she gets back to us, but she might not get back to us. Haven't heard from her either. That's not good. I know we haven't exactly gotten along, but we should meet up in town and look for her together. Looks like you have your morning plans in order. Let's take a shower, because we don't want to start the day filthy. You step into the guest bathroom and into the shower. Feels good to wash away the grime of last night's hauntings, but eventually you'll have to leave this place and confront the rest of the day. In the meantime, you, and I'm assuming it'll give options, but I just want to say before we get those options, it feels like if you want to, I don't know, it may just be me, but if I went through a harrowing, supernatural trial, I might take a shower at the end of the day just to wash that off, and then shower again in the morning. That might just be me. I like showering. I like staying clean. But you never know. You think about the door of the clinic, think about the afterlife, think about Stella, Rosalie to shatter leg, image of Duke, think about Sybil's warning, think about Wayne, think about someone special, think about finally being out of this. Wow, there's a lot of stuff to think about. Okay. What are we gonna think about? Honestly, the thing I'm most curious about is the door in the clinic. So, last time around, I don't think the recap actually covered this, but when we were in the house of that artist that always gets sick with a name that I can't remember right now, there was some kind of door, a closed door that we found, that, like, we were supernaturally drawn to and couldn't prevent ourselves from, like, getting ready to open, but we didn't figure out what was behind there. And I don't know if I'll be going back there, but let's see. You're sure of it, you're done here. Alright. You turn off the faucet and dry yourself off. Let's check the closet. Ooh, the doll. There's no denying it, the doll moved at some point since your most recent visit. But your long-dead relative's creepy doll isn't the only thing that's different. Someone was in here. Send them all over for the rest of the day. No worries about that. I'm totally cool. People just wandering around the closet. Should be fine. Head downstairs. It's time to face your cousin. You find her in the kitchen, her shoulders hunched in a tight ball of anxiety. They're striking. This week of all weeks, as if I didn't have enough on my plate already. If history is anything to go off of here, it almost doesn't matter how strong the strike seems. This is Tabitha's battle to lose. There isn't a union in Scarlet Hollow, which means a proper strike isn't even legal. Your cousin can pretty much do whatever she wants. She could fire everyone and wait them out, for instance, or pick and choose her targets. Let's talk about the strike. The mine's in trouble. Honestly, I'm on the side of the workers here, so let's just say sell it and sell the estate. Get out. Tabitha bristles. You really are Vivian's kid, aren't you? Trying to bow out just when things get difficult? That's me! I'm not giving up like that. This is the Scarlet Mine. I'm not just gonna cash out on our family's legacy. I'm bringing the mine back to life one way or another. Right, let's ask about Stella. I can't get a hold of her. No, but that's not exactly newsworthy. I'm sure she's just processing what happened last night. We weren't the only ones who were traumatized. Yeah, we were actually the only ones who weren't possessed. Talk about the strike. Do you know what the strikers want? I haven't seen a list of demands. I'm sure it's just the usual. I promise you that if any of them were in my shoes for months, they'd be singing a different tune. Just give them what they want, Tabitha. It's the right thing to do. Or, wow, there's a lot of options. So many options here. I'm going to say it's no use fighting the inevitable, because the workers shall rise victorious. Please, there's plenty of use fighting the inevitable. Every single person does it. Every day they still drop. I mean, that is true. As long as you're not dead, you are fighting the inevitable in a sense. Besides, this isn't inevitable. I still have plenty of time to save the mines. So that's why the ditchlings are here. They were predicting the strike. Those doughy things we saw in the library yesterday? Look, I get it. There's weird stuff happening right now, but let's not muddy something as mundane as a strike with the supernatural. They're two entirely different things. Probably should have seen this coming, dumbass. Who's to say I didn't? It wasn't ever really a question of if, more of a question of when. Forgive me if I didn't expect them to walk out a few days before my mother's funeral. Couldn't even wait until Pearl Ann was in the ground. I am pro-union, and I'm gonna stay pro-union. Talk about what happened last night. So ghosts are real. I still can't get over that. I can. What does that actually change about anything? I still have a mind to run, and you still have a funeral to attend. It feels good, doesn't it? Getting rid of something our family left behind like that? Sure, but you did most of the heavy lifting there. Yeah, that is true. You were pretty useless, Tabitha. I'm sorry. You probably should get going, right? Yeah. I've dawdled long enough. Stay safe. No more hijinks. But let me know if you get into trouble, okay? Tabitha slips past you, her heavy boots thudding down the hall as she marches away to face her employees. Time to figure out the rest of your day. I mean, I gotta talk to Frou Frou. So this is the French cat, right? Oh, c'est toi. Qu'est-ce que tu vas maintenant? I don't know. I think I'm close enough there. If you watch me on Jeopardy, you know I have a personal vendetta against French as a language and a concept. Will you ever let me pet you? And court my fur in your disgusting human oils? No. I missed you last night, Frou Frou. That makes one of us. Do you know anything about the stone carvings scattered around town? Yeah, ask the cat. I am not here to be your... Comment dit-on? Chien detective. Je suis un chat. I'm here to watch you flail about in the darkness. I am not here to provide answers to whatever mysteries confound your feeble American mind. Let's just smile respectfully. She scoffs, her tail twitching with annoyance. But you can tell she's less annoyed than she usually is. Maybe she's getting used to you. Good talk, cat. She scoffs as you turn away. Oh. I mean, I gotta have a quick PB&J, right? If Stella's MIA, who knows when you'll get the chance to eat. You make yourself a PB&J in anticipation for the long day ahead of you, although it looks more just like 2 pieces of bread with a bunch of nuts in between. And that's that. Alright, let's head to town. It's time to head to town. You head to the front door and begin your trek to the town below. The sun shines down through a thin layer of clouds, illuminating the path in a watery gray light. You can't help but feel countless eyes watching you from the tree line, a feeling that reminds you of your time in the woods with Stella. Ditchlings shouldn't be out in the middle of the day, though. They're getting bolder, which, as we learned from, I forget, what's her name? Ethel, the old lady. I think we learned it from the old lady. It might have been from, like, a book, or it might have been from Kanika. I don't quite remember. But ditchlings grow bolder, stronger, and more populous when there's a tragedy about to strike. So, this is a bad sign. To your surprise, you find a familiar face making its way up the path towards you. Hey, I was just coming up to see you. Hope you were able to get some sleep after everything that happened last night. I was up most of the night totally wired on adrenaline. Let's not flirt with Avery because I want to flirt with, what's her name, Stella. Have you heard anything from her? She has to be physically present for me to flirt with her, though. That's kind of my main operative issue with this point. I haven't heard from her, though. We don't text much, and I haven't checked in with Winnie to see if she came in for an early breakfast or anything. But if you haven't heard from her, that doesn't sound great. Seeing her like that last night was awful. She's usually so unflappable. There's ditchlings everywhere now, even though it's daytime. Avery turns to survey the tree line. I noticed a few on my way up. They're kind of funny now that I'm getting a good look at them, with their scrunched up little Shar-Pei faces. So, should I be worried about these things? I know they're a bad omen or something, but like, are they dangerous? They're not gonna eat me if I take a wrong turn, right? Not eat. Just use as an incubator. That's probably worse, though. I don't know. They've only been using wild animals so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if they switched to larger prey soon. That is right, because the deer that we found in episode 1 was some kind of, like, ditchling hatchery and had, like, a fate worse than death, needed to be put out of its misery kind of deal. I wouldn't be surprised if they switched to larger prey soon. It's a very, like, Last of Us kind of situation, right? Like, you know, kind of how in The Last of Us it was like, oh yeah, what if these cordyceps fungi, you know, kind of adapt to rising temperatures and start going after humans? It's just like, oh yeah, as long as they don't go after humans, we're good. Once they do, we're screwed. An incubator, so they don't eat people? That's not so bad. I could have a couple eggs under my skin. The animals didn't make it out of the incubation stage intact. But they didn't have modern medicine on their side. I'm sure I could figure it out with the help of a doctor or two and make it out relatively unscathed. Maybe I'd even be able to let the eggs hatch instead of just having them removed. It'd be sad to kill the babies, but at the end of the day, if it's me or them, I gotta go with self-preservation. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this dialogue option. I was wondering when you'd finally say something really weird. I knew you seemed too normal to live here. Normal's boring. Hope that's not a deal breaker for the whole friendship. Let's see. How are you doing today? Or are you doing okay after last night? You could also ask that. I'm great. With something like possession, I kind of feel like there are more upsides than downs. So he likes getting possessed, and he likes having eggs laid in his skin. Okay. I am kind of like an off-kilter, extra kind of dude. So take it seriously when I say this guy has something wrong with him. There aren't a lot of people out there who can say they've been through something like that. It's a pretty cool badge of honor as far as I'm concerned. Kanika and I are meeting up to look for Stella. Want to come? Absolutely. I told Winnie I'd be coming in late today, so I've got time. I don't know how much time, though. From what I saw this morning, there's already a few miners holed up in there. They must be using it as home base for the strike. Oh, by the way, there's a strike going on. I'm sure you already knew that, though. Have to imagine Tabitha would have told you this morning. Alright, let's head to town. Yeah, good idea. You and Avery start back down the path to town. It isn't long until you once again find yourself on the main street of Scarlet Hollow. Snowy Nerdy, you made it! And you picked up an Avery along the way. Hope you're both doing okay, emotionally. Yeah, I'm not too bad. That's good. I feel like I got crushed by a steamroller or something. Joints all out of whack, totally exhausted and super foggy. That's just called being an adult. Mama's been insisting I caught a cold and I wasn't buying it, but as of this morning I've come around. It's definitely something beyond exhaustion, even considering the ridiculously stressful week we've all had. But I'm not gonna let that stop me from looking for Stella. And it's not gonna stop me from having a YouTube channel. Let's see here. I always want to take the explore option, right? That's how we find lore. Do you think there could be a rational explanation for all of this? Kanika sighs heavily. Rational? Sure. Rooted in the reality of that until a few days ago I thought was devoid of all magic and supernatural shit? Nah. Ghosts are real. They can suck you into illusory dimensions and puppet your body like a fleshy marionette. Next thing you know, we'll find out there's a secret society of warlocks running the country, or that angels are real. You gotta admit, it's kind of thrilling, isn't it? Anything could be possible. Who knows what the new day holds for all of us? It'd be a little more thrilling if it weren't terrifying. All the magical stuff we've found so far just wants to hurt us. We need a magical being that's on our side. Who are the magical girls when you need them? Though I guess we already have an animal whisperer, don't we? That's pretty magical. Yeah, animal whisperer! Word of my powers is getting around. Wait, you can talk to animals? For real? When were you gonna tell me? Well, I just thought everyone could do it. Wow, I'm gonna need you to tell me what every animal we meet is saying. This is too cool. You, really took that in stride, didn't you? I take everything in stride. There's no better way to live. And as a reminder, I will say, we are not the only ones that can speak to animals, which also makes me wonder, because when I first played this game, there were like 7 abilities that were offered for me, and I spent like 10 minutes in what must have been a thrilling, segment for you viewers, just trying to decide which 2 abilities I wanted to play with. So, but it does make me wonder if there's anybody that, obviously Booksmart is a little bit more of a, grounded, realistic ability, but there were some abilities that were more supernatural as well. I think there was one that was telepathy adjacent or something like that. Does make me wonder if there are any, people who have those powers. Kaneki Mom's totally a witch, right? Maybe she's the magical girl. No way, she's just a new age crystal and earth lady. She's not... You don't think. She could be for real. Anything seems possible these days. But that would mean everything I thought I knew was wrong, and my whole life has been a lie. I need to take a page out of Stella's book and just block this shit out. I need to be focused. I can't keep having all these existential crises. Again, that's being an adult. Get used to it. Someone manning the general store while we go looking for Stella. Mom and Miles can deal for another day while we go looking for Stella. This is important. Winnie is the old lady, not Ethel. Ethel's just my old lady name that I think about for everybody. I don't know why. Not that the store isn't, but if something happened to her and I was spending my time minding the register, I don't think I could live with that. I'm supposed to see your mom at some point today. Maybe she'll finally shed some light on things. I'm not sure what she's planning to tell you today that she couldn't tell all of us last night. Maybe she's gonna read your fortune. After last night, I wouldn't doubt that she actually could. Your mom's always had a bit of that Glinda vibe going for her. Yeah, maybe you should stop making fun of her whole New Age mystic thing. A lot's happened in the past couple days. Okay, let's get started. I don't want to waste another minute. Where to first? Let's check out... lot of options. Definitely not going to the cops. Definitely not going to Oscar. I feel like both of those are kind of pointless. Not going to the mines. Let's check out the diner. Good idea. Folks tend to congregate there. Maybe we'll run into someone who's seen Stella. Here's hoping Winnie doesn't try to rope me into clocking in early. Wait, is it Ethel? I thought Winnie was a different person. I don't know. When I come across that old lady again, they'll remind me her name. It feels like you walked into a private meeting. The back booth is full of miners, and they're having what seems to be an intense discussion. Their expressions gravely serious. What's going on? There was a strike up at the mines. They made the diner their base of operations. Oh, great, so the mines probably would have been a good call. Okay, so Winnie is this lady, so it might be Ethel. I might have been right. When he asked for the morning off, I didn't think he'd be showing up with friends. Sorry, Aunt Winnie. Stella's gone missing, and I've been helping these two track her down. You haven't seen her, have you? Don't you apologize now. And I can't say I have. Should I be worried about her? Sorry, I'm trying to, narrow in on a good voice, because, Winnie has not been one that I have, used a lot before. I hope not. We're not interrupting anything here, are we? Of course not. Independent customers welcome. Long as you aren't about to step on anybody's toes or cause a fuss. The miners in back were too engaged in conversation to notice you enter, and instead of speaking in hushed voices, argue with each other loudly enough for you to easily overhear. Sure, the shift schedules are tough, and sure, we don't get as much time off for me to see my family as often as I'd like, but this is the best job I can get right now. Listen, kid, you're only a year or so into this gig. Trust me, the longer it goes on, the more it sucks the life out of you. At first, you're just unhappy, but you think you can weather it until you find something better. Paycheck to paycheck, I get it. But the next thing you know, you lost years of your life to a company that doesn't give a solitary shit about you. Uses up every free second it can suck out of its workers and pays us just enough to survive, but not so much that we can ever save enough to get the hell out. Zax, we could get fired for this. I really need the paycheck. My sister needs the paycheck. I'm the only reason she can afford her tuition right now. I can't get fired. And the job still has its perks, like the company housing. I can't afford my own place and send money back home. I don't know where I would live if I didn't have this job. Right, the company housing. How generous of the big boss to put you up in a company-owned shack that ain't had proper maintenance done in decades. You know she uses that housing as an excuse to pay us less. And the company housing, that means almost nobody in this whole damn town owns the place they live. That's why the Scarlets can keep getting away with whatever they want. Zax, we don't have the numbers, man. You know this is risky. Riskier than most of us can afford. We would have the numbers if y'all would stand with me and not let management's scare tactics get to you. It's not scare tactics. People like her now. That woman ran into a collapsing coal mine and saved 3 children from being buried alive. I feel for you, I really do, but how are we supposed to organize a strike against the town hero? Are you trying to tell me that a mine collapsed less than 2 days ago is why you don't want to strike? That is a good point. Feels like the safety conditions could be better. It's a bad time, Zax. It's always a bad time, Baker. Doesn't matter whose name is on the deed for the place. Without us, there is no mine. We've got them against the ropes. We can't back down now or they'll come out swinging. Let's weigh in on the situation. Why not? Let's see. Again, I am extremely pro-worker, so I'm going to say everyone should join the strike. Unite with your fellow workers. Screw my cousin. The miners turn towards the doorway, all eyes glaring at you in unison. Oh great, they might hit me now. Hey, this is a private conversation. You're screaming about it in a diner, okay? But you're right, even if you are the boss's cousin, and I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. The strike is only gonna work if all of us stand together. What do you say, you two? I'll have to call my family to see what they say. My sister's tuition is riding on this job. Baker? I'll have to think about it. Have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. The YouTuber? We ain't seen her. Harrison's voice dropped to a barely audible mumble. I hope she's okay. Oh, great. Thanks for the information. So about the strike. Look, kid, I appreciate you pushing folks in the right direction, but I'll be damned if we talk business in front of you. I may be the boss's cousin, but I support the strike. It's true, I do. Whoa, even the boss's family's on our side? Maybe this really could work. The whole town should be on our side. There was a collapse less than 2 days ago, and she expects us not to ride it, thought of being forced back down there? Who's Isaacs? Is that someone I've dealt with? Damn straight! Here. Still, if you support the strike, the best thing you can do right now is not meddle with it. Trust can only go so far. No, Snowy Nerd is cool. I wouldn't hang out with him if he wasn't. Can't help who you're related to, right? No, I guess it can't. But that doesn't mean we have to trust everyone who stumbles into town, that is true. No offense, but your friendship doesn't mean much, Diner Kid. You're friends with everybody, even that Julius freak. Diner Kid? I know you know Avery's name. If I ever hear you call them that again... oh, right. Does Avery use they, them? They might use they, them. If so, my apologies. Sorry, Miss Wynn. Won't happen again. Don't apologize to me. Sorry, Avery. I didn't mean to be so dismissive. Y'all are right, though. I am pretty friendly with most people in town. If my friendliness and ability to get along with anybody means I can't vouch for you, then I guess that's that. Sorry, Snowy Nerdy. In that case, I guess we should get going. Alright, we visited the diner. Got an achievement for it. Woo! Still no sign of Stella. Alright, let's check her house. That feels like the natural place to go. Oh, have you not checked Stella's place already? I was too nervous to go anywhere by myself this morning in case I ran into any other horrors from beyond the veil. So, no, and I'm gonna feel really silly if she's just asleep in bed. You make your way towards Stella's house. Kanika knocks anxiously on the door. It creaks open. For the life of you, can't remember if Stella closed the door behind her when the two of you left for the library yesterday morning. Also, if we go to Stella's house, we might be able to talk to Gretchen, because if Stella's missing, Gretchen might be able to help. We ate breakfast here yesterday morning and left together, but I can't remember if she closed the door. She must have, right? Maybe the door just opened itself as a prank on all of us. Or Stella left it open for a normal, non-scary reason. Could be she came home last night and forgot to close it all the way. Happens to the best of us. Or maybe she couldn't close it because something happened to her before she had the chance. Ugh, I need to stop working myself up over nothing. It's just a door. It doesn't mean anything. Might as well invite ourselves in, right? Yeah, we should go in, I guess. Cool. I'll be brave and go first. Good. Again, I basically saved everybody from supernatural possession literally just last night, so somebody else can take the lead on being brave this time. Avery casually steps over the threshold into Stella's house. The living room is almost exactly as we saw it the other day. Whatever happened to Stella, it doesn't look like it happened here. Doesn't look like it was a struggle or anything. Unless it happened in another room, or maybe someone or something caught her off guard. You didn't have to add that last part. I'm gonna forget that you said that and just be thankful that this doesn't look like a crime scene. Alright, where are we investigating? Let's investigate Stella's room first. Oh wow. You make your way down the hall to what you assume to be Stella's room. She's not here. Though it's a little untidy, it's the usual sort of untidiness that accumulates when someone doesn't often have guests in their bedroom. There aren't any signs of violence. Instead of shooting the breeze, let's actually get the lore first. Check her computer. You go to check Stella's computer. I'm not sure we should be snooping on her computer. Isn't that an invasion of privacy? Can you just shut up? We already broke into her house, right? For all we know, there could be some sort of clue on there, like a note detailing exactly where she is. Exactly, something convenient. We didn't break into her house, the door was left wide open. Yeah, exactly, I had the same thought. Maybe the computer was left open too. If her password is 12345, technically that's leaving it open, or, might as well be the same thing. Exactly, if there's no password, maybe we're supposed to take a peek. Maybe we'll find the first note in an elaborate scavenger hunt she set up overnight. Okay, fine, but I'm going to stand over your shoulder the whole time and make sure you don't go looking for anything personal. Like, what, a bunch of porn? I don't know. Stella's desktop is horrifically cluttered. There's simply too many files and folders to fit on her monitor, and they overlap each other in a chaotic, multi-layered display. Whoa, how do we find anything on here? I'm suddenly a lot less worried about an invasion of privacy, and a lot more worried about this being a complete waste of time. I am book smart, let's sift through the chaos. You've spent plenty of time with computers and are more than capable of sifting through the chaos of a messy desktop. One folder catches your eye. Boring tax stuff. Years of helping friends with their computers have made you all too familiar with this folder. Boring tax stuff never contains boring tax stuff. For that matter, it never contains anything related to taxes, and its contents are never boring. If this is porn, I'm closing the game right now. Like, that is a wild, that would be a wild guess. Aww! Definitely not porn. Good. You open the folder. You're surprised to find it contains a carefully mapped out diagram of the Scarlet Hollow mines, including holes and fences and areas with low visibility. There's also a handful of old photos of Stella and Tabitha together as teenagers. Tabitha wears an uncharacteristic grin, an authentic, joyful smile, and Stella's eyes are somehow brighter, less tired. Both of them seem to be living in a happier time. Okay, this is way too personal. I'm gonna go stand in the corner while you wrap this up. You think? Let's check her search history. She hasn't visited any websites since Tuesday night. If she came home after last night's incident, she didn't touch her browser. Her search history is almost entirely work-related, a furious series of queries for various monsters and cryptids that might fit the profile of ditchlings. That's that. Alright, let's check her open tabs. It would take you all day to count the number of open tabs in Stella's browser. So numerous are her tabs that you can't see a single icon. I'm just looking at what I'm pointing at across the top of the screen here, and it is stressing me out on an emotional level. So numerous are her tabs that you can't see a single icon. A sea of rounded, featureless triangles from Windows Edge to Windows Edge. And who needs that many tabs? I don't know. Anytime I see somebody with like 17 tabs open, I'm just like, you can close at least 14 of these. What are you doing with your life? Anyway, moving on. Her most recently opened tab is a post on Uncle Carl's Bigfoot Farm, a forum for cryptozoology enthusiasts. You visited Uncle Carl's Bigfoot Farm in the past. Despite the name and despite the fact that posters call themselves Carl's Big Feet, the community takes itself very seriously, and it's one of the more consistently active cryptid boards on the web. The post in question is titled "Something Big is Happening at Scarlet Hollow." Hey everyone! Was out chasing a skunk ape sighting the other day, and I found these weird little guys. My friend's mom says there's something called ditchlings, but I've never heard of them before. Anyone have any good leads? Camera isn't shaky enough. This is totally staged. Clean footage and some kind of cryptid nobody has heard of except for your friend's mom? The only thing I'm seeing is when I Google ditchlings is some city in England. Thought you were legit. Now I have to double check, like, excuse me for a moment. I'm going to see if, like, Ditchling, England is actually a place. Yeah, Ditchling is in fact a village in England. Look at that. In the Lewes district of East Sussex, contained within the boundaries of the South Downs National Park. There we go. Now we know a little bit more about English geography. Yay! Thought you were legit. Guys, when did high-quality footage count as anything other than actual evidence? Those things are terrifying. Since every low-budget horror movie started doing guerrilla marketing, I smell an ARG, yeah. I'm serious, I've got a ton of extra footage. Look at what they've been doing to the animals in town. They're apparently some sort of bad omen, like Mothman. Okay, I'm listening. I love me a Mothman. Username checks out. Yeah, I believe you. Oh, lucky you're falling right into her lap. I don't trust YouTubers. They're entertainers, not scientists. Sick. The thread continues into the next day. I don't know. It's weird. It feels weird to be doing voices for weird, random, basically 4chan users. So I'm going to just go, I guess, neutral. Hey, okay. So, one, this isn't an ARG. I would never. And two, you're not going to believe this, but we went into an abandoned mine last night to investigate things, and I'm pretty sure we found some Tommyknockers. Listen to this knocking we managed to catch on tape. So, Hidden Appalachia is probably Stella, right? That's what we're figuring here? Or Appalachia, if you prefer, if you're only from the Appalachians. There's a link to the audio file titled TommyKnockersReal.wav. Just because you put the word real in your file name doesn't mean they're real. 2 supernatural events on back-to-back nights? This is so fake. I can't believe I bought into that River Runner hype. You're so full of it. YouTubers are always going to sell out to big indie horror. This is Kidnapped by Aliens all over again. Now I have to figure out. Admittedly, the kind of cryptozoology scene is not what I am the most used to, or like what I'm the most acquainted with. So I'm going to look up Kidnapped by Aliens to see if this is a thing. It doesn't appear to be. Also, lol, doughy white things and now loud popping noises? This is definitely an ARG. Did you sell out to Pillsbury? Stop cyberbullying her or I'm going to call the mods. Locking this thread and giving everyone a 7-day ban. No cyberbullying and no self-promo. The thread ends. Ouch. Okay, I think we've seen enough. Thank God. Alright, what else do we have? Oh! Snoop on Stella's computer in episode 4. Find everything! Woo! Alright. Let's see. I love seeing someone's room before they've had a chance to clean it up for company. It's a neat little snapshot, don't you? You know? I will say, like, it is one of those, like, weird things everyone does with their own, like, houses or rooms or whatever. It's like, when somebody is visiting, even if it's just, like, perfectly fine, they're just like, oh, I gotta clean this up, it's just a mess. And then, you know, anyone who visits when it's not cleaned up is just like, doesn't notice or doesn't care. Maybe that's just me. Speak for yourself. If the roles were reversed and I was missing and you and Stella were poking around in my room unannounced, I'd be completely mortified. Spoken like someone with a whole lot of secrets. My room is immaculate. A guest could drop by unannounced at 2 a.m. and I wouldn't sweat a thing. Congratulations on having your shit together. Thank you, I'll come by it honest. I will say that this is what her room's been like for pretty much the entire time I've known her. The only thing that's changed is the computer getting a lot fancier. Could use a few more houseplants. I'll put together some trimmings after we found her. Oh, she still does those corkboard with string things. She loves putting those strings on there. I don't think they actually mean anything, but they're more for decoration anyway. I will say, like, if you're a conspiracy theorist, like, are you even worth your salt if you're not using string? Like, that's one of the main reasons to become a conspiracy theorist. Anyway, let's investigate the kitchen. Stella's kitchen is messier than she left it yesterday. A couple cabinets are hanging open, and a loaf of bread sits on the counter by a used butter knife. Someone was here after Stella and I left yesterday. We didn't leave the kitchen like this. Again, usually, as a matter of principle, I am going to choose options that are unique or distinctive to the path that I have taken. So, for example, when I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, like, if there's any, like, dialogue option that's related to my character class, I will pick that option just because I can't get that option with other paths or classes or whatever. Same thing here. So, what do you think? Someone rummaged through the kitchen? She must have come home last night. Why would anyone else leave the living room in one piece just to trash the kitchen? I mean, the town's surrounded by monsters. Maybe they got hungry. Or maybe she came home last night, had a snack, and didn't feel like putting things away. I feel that, but then that leaves us with another question. If she came home last night, where did she go and why did she leave? And why haven't we been able to reach her? Okay, I guess we're not going to find anything else here. Let's move on. Alright, so we visited Stella's now. Okay, so she probably came home last night, but she's not here now. And we don't have any idea where she might have gone. I thought I was overreacting this morning. I hope she would just be sleeping in. I can't believe she's actually missing. We'll find her. We're going to the cops. I know they probably won't actually do anything, but we should see if we can get them to start looking for her before we can go anywhere else. I think instead of going to the cops, we should probably go to the mines? I also wouldn't be averse to checking out the church and talking to that one other guy that can speak with animals. But I'm thinking, because Stella's computer had diagrams of the mines on them, right? Or like entry points or something like that. I think that was one of the things we found there, so that might be evidence that they've laid for us that Stella's at the mines now. I guess there's a decent chance Stella wants to find your cousin, since they're friends. You don't see it? Oh, come on. The two of them have such a dynamic, you know? Classic dog and cat situation. Come on, I'll drive us. You follow Kanika to her van. It isn't long before we find yourselves outside the Scarlet Mines. There's a small gathering of workers outside the entrance to the mines, picket signs in hand. I hope it's not weird to talk to them while they're in the middle of all this. Don't worry, I know these guys. Most of them are in the diner at least a couple days a week. They'll be chill. Will they be chill talking to Tabitha's cousin, though? Well, if it isn't the boss's cousin. Zach seemed to think you're alright, though. Hail and well met. Let's just get right to the point. Have any of you seen Stella? Have I done a voice for Davis yet? I don't know. The YouTuber? She's the one with all the banned from property posters, right? We haven't seen her. And we've been out here all day, so we'd know if she'd come by. Oh no, this isn't looking good. It's okay, just because she hasn't been seen today doesn't mean something bad happened to her. We'll be sure to keep an eye out. Or is it? We'll be sure to keep an eye out. Sorry. Like, the minors are voices that, like, I have established for them, but that was a month ago, and I see them once every other chapter. So I do not remember what these voices were and cannot stay consistent. Now let's greet them. Hail and well met. What goes on here? Minors stare at you. Don't be cute with us. You know we're striking. Poor Tabitha. How's it going? We miscalculated. We thought a kid losing her leg would have pushed folks over the edge, but I guess the boss personally dragging those kids out of the mine left a lasting impression. People are calling the boss a goddamn hero. They're calling Tabitha a hero? Really? We were there too that night. It's like everyone just forgot about how poorly she's been treating us. Or how unsafe the mines are. I can't go back down there knowing the rock over my head could come down any second. I value my life more than a paycheck. It was dumb luck she saved those kids. If she had any actual value, she'd come to the table and give us what we're owed. I know there's not a lot of us out here, but there's more of us at the diner, and there's more of us setting up mutual aid. But once folks see our follow-through, they're gonna join up. This is only the beginning. Let me know if there's anything the general store can do to help. Anything you can think of, we'll take it. We need all the support we can get right now. What are your grievances? We like competitive pay, 8-hour shifts instead of 12 or more, improvements to the sick day and vacation policies, and a thorough safety inspection before any of us step foot underground again. That collapse was way too close to the active mine for me to feel safe down there until I know for sure I won't wind up buried under 2 tons of rock. We want to change things. There's no reason we should be treated like we're a disposable workforce. If we're the ones making our money, we should be making money too. Not just scraping by. That's a lot of grievances. Working here seems tough. Yeah. Do you think Tabitha can even make those changes without the mines going under? I'm sure she can figure it out. I'm not saying she's a bad boss. People clearly aren't happy with her. But coal's getting used less and less, and I've seen that old Scarlet house. It's practically condemned. If she has money to spare, where's it going? I really didn't peg you as someone who'd go to bat for Tabitha. I'm not. Just trying to get the full picture here. And if the mine fails, I don't see how Aunt Winnie's diner doesn't fail with it. Okay, but that's the whole problem. A single family shouldn't be able to hold an entire town hostage. The workers need to stay in the business. Fair enough. Usually, now I know that I just said I take the paths that are unique to the choices that I've made throughout the game. However, I don't want to, smack these miners down. I want to, support them. I'm behind you folks, 100%. Good to hear the boss's cousin is on our side. Maybe it'll get more people to join us out here. Yeah, we appreciate the support. And if there's anything you can do to get her to come to the table and start negotiating. Okay, if I'm helping you out here, do you mind if I go talk to my cousin? Sure, go for it. I don't care if they're okay with you going in. I'm still not crossing a picket line. That is fair. Besides, I don't think Tabitha would be too happy to see me. I'll just wait by the van while you go talk to her. Same. Everyone who works here is a regular at the diner. I don't want to make things weird. See you on the other side. Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. I feel like doing it for negotiating purposes rather than working purposes is a little bit more justifiable, though. The industrial noises of the Scarlet Mine are only a little quieter than they were 2 days ago. The trailer that serves as Tabitha's office looms above you on the hill. Screw knocking, let's enter. You walk to Tabitha's trailer. Walking on a meeting! Yes! I think I can turn at least a few of the guys, and if you fire Davis... Oh my god, have you heard of knocking? What are you even doing up here? Should I go? Yeah, and make sure no one sees you. No one else, at least. What were you two talking about? Let's just go ahead and butt into other people's business as we do. That's for me to know and you to not ask any questions about. You have nothing to do with any of this, so don't get involved. Should I be worried about? Don't say another word, just leave. I'll handle this. I like doing like a more high-pitched voice for this big dude. The door clicks closed as Rodriguez leaves Tabitha's office. Ah! The instant you're alone, Tabitha rounds on you. She grabs you by the collar, her face close to yours, eyes full of rage, her words a frustrated hiss. Listen to me, Snowy Nerdy. Really listen. This isn't some fun little game, okay? This is my life, and if you value yours, you'll keep quiet about what you just saw. I don't care if we're family, I can make the rest of your stay here a living hell if you cross me. Her grip loosens. Sorry to get scary for a second. I'm so close to having everything under control here, I can't risk you mucking it up like you've done with everything else this week. Start crying. Yeah, just guilt her. Let's see here. I'm glad you're having such a hard time. No. How dare you touch me? No. Completely uncalled for? No. Yeah, let's just approach her and be honest. I don't know. We should talk about the strike and we should talk about what just happened. No, we shouldn't. End of conversation. Well, okay. That's the end of the conversation then. What did you come up here to talk about anyway? Just decided you wanted to bother me on the worst possible day to be bothered? Stella's still missing. We've been looking all over town for her and don't have any leads. Why do things keep happening to me? Please, can I just have one day where only one thing happens? Tabitha groans in frustration. Ugh. I'm sure she'll turn up, but I'll see if I can get a hold of her. Don't think looking for my missing acquaintance gives you a pass to do anything dangerous. You're forbidden from doing risky things, even for what you might think is a good reason. Well, now I have to go do risky things. This is a good point. I don't think I'm able to judge what's risky or not. Last night was supposed to be a cakewalk, and it was risky. That's fair, actually. Why don't you try lying in bed all day? You can always leave the search and rescue to her other friends. Honestly, lying in bed all day, never a bad call. I also want to see how you were doing. With the strike, your mom, everything. Let's really talk. What are the odds she says, no, let's not talk, end of conversation. Did you really think I'd want to have some kind of heart-to-heart right now? Sorry, Snowy Nerd, but I have work to do. Save your probing questions for some other time. Or never, I don't care which. Right. God, you suck! I'm just trying to connect with you, let's be honest. Are you? Is that why you keep ignoring everything I say to spend time with a bunch of strangers instead? I literally ditched them to come talk to you here! Alright. Love you, bye! Don't be weird. You leave the office, the door slamming shut behind you. Ooh, alright, I visited the mines. Get an achievement for a bunch of these different visits. You find Kanika and Avery waiting for you outside. You don't look like you found any new leads. Look back at the striking miners. Oh! Warn them about Rodriguez's scheme or keep it to yourself. Oh no. I'm gonna save this here. But, sheesh. This is tough. I do support the miners, but I don't want to betray Tabitha. I want to be able to talk to her and hold on. Let's see what we've got here. So can I go to settings? Yeah, I can do load. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to warn them about the scheme just to see how they react, and then I'm going to undo that and keep it to myself. Hey Davis, Rodriguez is trying to get Tabitha to fire you to break the strike. Okay, good. That little rat. Good, good, good. Okay, thanks for letting us know. We'll have to figure out who we've been talking to. Okay. So I didn't know that was what Rodriguez was trying to do. So now at this point, admittedly I forgot who Rodriguez was, because it's been a while since I've actually seen him. So honestly, I might lean into this choice here. If it ends with Tabitha dead, I might have to just come back and undo that. But you're right. Snitching on a snitch seems like fair game. I'm trying to support the miners, and because they can like legally lose their jobs, if I can like help warn them, maybe that will do it. It feels like it is more likely to help than just getting the miners fired and breaking the strike that way. Don't worry about Tabitha finding out. Your secret's safe with us. It feels like we've done our due diligence here. Come on, I'll drive us back to town and we can figure out our next move from there. Well, here's hoping Tabitha doesn't die or kill me. Where to next? Alright, so let's see. Check out the church, check out Oscar. So are we... Are each of these just different scenes where we're not going to find Stella? It feels like we're just not going to find Stella in any of these scenes. Regardless, next step is going to be check out the church because I want to talk to that pastor guy. The church? Why? I see what you're thinking. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try again getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. Wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water while they're there, too. Seems like a good idea to cover all the bases at this point. I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing, but I'm sure Pastor Daniel would pretend to bless some water if it meant keeping us around a little longer. That's good enough for me. Let's not linger, though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts. Kanika leads the way, taking you up the gradual slope towards the church. You know, I've lived here for a few years now, and I've never actually been to the church. It's probably for a good reason. Where is that weirdo? Okay, what was the voice I said along for this guy? I completely forgot. My, 4 visitors at once? On a Thursday? This is unprecedented. I'm doing my best to do, like, Brennan Lee Mulligan's Bobby Dawn, you know, cleric televangelist voice from Dimension 20. That is my frame of reference for this guy now. But there are only 3 of us. Oh no, were we followed by a ditchling? Were we followed by Wayne? Sup, old people? Oh, I was just saying, what are you doing here? All the glimpses of death I've had the past 2 days have followed me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. I wanted to see if faith had any answers for me. Alas, I've not yet found the solace I seek. Give it time, Zane. Sometimes it takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart. But when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you, and of course, I'm always here if you need to talk. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace, y'all. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She wandered off last night, and no one has seen her since. We're starting to get pretty worried. Maybe you or Janie had seen her? I can't speak for Janie, but I'm afraid I've seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over by the alpacas. Though snowing earlier, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. Sure, what's up? I guess we'll leave you to it while we check in with Janie. That's a good call. Let's split up and look for clues. See you in a minute. Your friends head off towards Janie and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. I'm so glad you came. I've never met anyone else who could hear them. You have no idea how long I thought I must have had some kind of insanity. I even thought at one point it must have been the Lord himself talking to me through them. But they never had anything very insightful to say, so I was disavowed that pretty early on. Have you met Flu-Flu, Gretchen, Pixel? Of course I have. But I learned early on in life not to let on that I have this gift, at least while other humans are around. So I haven't spoken with any of them. Though I get the feeling Flu-Flu wouldn't talk to me even if she knew I could understand her. I've tried to befriend the alpacas when no one else is around. Emphasis on tried. They're surprisingly clicky. Besides that, I try to maintain a low profile, only chatting with the wildfire when I'm sure no one's looking. Are we sure we're actually talking to animals? Now that I know there are at least two of us, I have no doubt. There have definitely been times in my life where I thought I might just be nuts. But it's so consistent, and I've never exhibited any other signs of insanity. In my most doubting moments, I've considered the possibility that other entities may be using the animals to confuse my faith. But besides a particularly vicious hamster I had growing up, the most an animal has ever tried to convince me to do is give them more food. I wonder if the vicious hamster was then the patron of a murder club. Technically it was a guinea pig, but I think it's close enough to make the joke. So I somehow doubt their puppets for some otherworldly evil. Unless that otherworldly evil wants me to overfeed my pets. Have we been cursed? Why do we suffer this fate? I don't think it's suffering, but that was the line that they gave me. I don't think it's curse. It can be annoying at times, but so can talking to people. Not that I feel that way very often, of course. As a servant of God, I'm always ready to, and willing to talk with my fellow man about anything they need to discuss. Spiritually, I've always rationed as God's sign I should spread his word to even the beasts of his world. I've had mixed results, and seems the alpacas prefer Catholicism, which they know about somehow, and birds tend to be incredibly heretical. I guess, if alpacas are native to South America, Catholicism might be one of the main religions down there, so I guess that kind of makes sense. I wish I could approach a scientist about this without becoming a research experiment, but I prefer to keep quiet at my doctor's visits. Can't risk being locked away or altered in some permanent way, not when I have a family to take care of. Is your gift why you got into church? It's hard to say. I was raised Baptist by two loving parents and was always interested in religion, but I've also always known about my talent, so I don't know what came first. If anything, though, I'd say I'm religious in spite of the gift. It hasn't exactly been easy to square this with a lot of the religious education I've had. For instance, a lot of religious leaders will tell you that only humans have souls. Well, you and I both know that's not true. Though I suppose that gets into a whole different conversation about what exactly a soul is. Those are conversations I'm glad to leave to the scholars. I'm just a simple small-town pastor. I don't need to ask the big questions anymore. I just have to help people through their daily lives. Is this why people think you're creepy? Because you have the gift? People think I'm creepy? But it's alright. People say all kinds of things. I just have to be patient and persistent. And I know eventually they'll understand that I can be a comforting presence in their lives. Not a creepy one. Maybe if I grew a thicker beard, people would trust me more. Or maybe I should get a cool jacket. Can't express how much of a relief it is to finally meet someone else like me instead of everyone else who looked at me like I was insane. Likewise, though it may be more than just the two of us now, I have my suspicions that Tulip might have inherited the gift. There have been some particularly nasty raps in the church lately, and she said some things that have led me to believe she might be able to understand them. He's interrupted by the sound of a snapping twig and a high-pitched giggle, partly muffled by the underbrush on the edge of the property. Tulip, come out of there! You know you're not supposed to play in the woods. Tulip glances back into the house, quiet as she hesitates. Tulip, you gonna be good? Or are we gonna skip story time tonight? I'll be good. You don't have to skip story time. I won't go into the woods, I promise. I know you won't, Tulip. Because you know it's just too dangerous for little girls in there. Why don't you help Mama with the alpacas? It's just about time they got fed. You can give them hay. Tulip smiles broadly, seemingly excited by the prospect, and hurries off. Sorry I had to have a fun parenting moment just then. She's been trying to run off into those woods a lot lately, and it's really dangerous, even for adults. There's this massive trash dump not too far past the trees, but it must be at least 50 years old, so it's all grown over, and it looks like it's part of the landscape. What if you accidentally walk on it, you might find yourself falling into a hip-deep mound of rusty cans and broken glass. Oh, Tetanus Lake, Stella told me about it. Tetanus Lake? That's an accurate name. Wonder if Tulip would stay away if I started calling it that, or if it would only make it sound more alluring. How big a trash dump are we talking? Would a weekend of hard work clear it out? Maybe if you had construction equipment and a team of professionals. It's a big area, and I have no idea how deep it goes. In the meantime, I'm just making sure Tulip knows not to go near her. What were you saying about the church rats? Ah, yes, the rats. So you and I are used to the sort of chatter we hear from wildlife. It's usually nothing that needs to be paid attention to. But these rats, there's something so sinister about them. And they must be huge, judging by the sound of them scurrying around in there. Tulip had never shown evidence of the ability before. She'd never responded to the alpacas or engaged in conversation with birds. In respect, she could have been hiding it, the way I did growing up. Because I know she's been talking to the rats. She calls them her friends, and has been drawing all these pictures of them, really ghastly things. I've tried to bring it up with her, but she just gets this little smile and doesn't say a word, like it's her fun little secret. It's all innocent enough in the grand scheme of things, but I'm pretty sure they also live out in that trash heap, and ever since she started talking about her friends, she's been trying to sneak out there. I'm concerned she's gonna get hurt or catch some kind of disease. What have they been saying? They like to try to goad me into crying or becoming depressed. They watch me through unseen holes and make fun of me and try to figure out how to press my buttons. It's annoying, but easy enough to block out, especially when I'm praying. I don't think they're a good influence on Tulip, though. She's gotten quiet and secretive ever since she started talking to them. I hate to think about what they say to her when I'm not around to hear. Have you actually seen them? They might be ditchlings. No, but I don't need to. I lived in a dorm that had rats once. You never see them, but the church has all the signs of an infestation, and there's no mistaking the sound of little creatures stampeding through the walls. I've left out some humane rat traps, but they're too smart for them. All it's done is waste peanut butter. And I caught a possum in one, poor thing. Possums are never very bright, but at least he got a nice big scoop of peanut butter out of the ordeal. Has Janie heard them? She's not in the church very often. She's usually in town doing her job till late, and we spend our evenings in the house. It's just me and Tulip all day long. Janie knows Tulip has made some strange little friends, but thinks it's an imagination game. I was hoping I'd sort out the rat issue before she could get suspicious, but they're persistent, so I may have to hire an exterminator if I can get the money for one. I hope it doesn't have to come to that. Are you sure they're rats? I think so. The pastor shifts uncomfortably for a moment. I hope so. This is really creepy, dude. I suppose it is. I've gotten so used to hearing weird voices coming from anywhere and everywhere. I guess I'd forgotten how unsettling something like hearing cruel little voices in your walls truly is. He shudders. I'll do my best to talk some sense into them, or into my daughter. And if that fails, maybe you could lend a hand. I don't want to be too much of a bother, and you should probably finish looking for your missing friend first, but I'll be around if you have time to check in later this week. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Kanika and Avery walking back to the two of you. They must have finished talking to Janie. Janie said she hasn't seen Stella either, so we better get going. Thanks for suggesting we head up here, Smelly Nerdy. We got to feed the alpacas. They were so cute and soft. It was like, oh, I didn't get to feed the alpacas. That makes me sad. And Janie says she'll come by the diner with cookies for the miners, and a few extra for me, of course. She's so nice. She even offered to bring me some, even since I'm feeling under the weather. Hope you talked with the pastor went well. Yes, we had a great conversation. I appreciate you all stopping by, even if it wasn't under the best circumstances. I'll let y'all be on your way. And I hope Stella turns up soon. I'll put in some good prayers with the big man for her. Alright, thanks. See ya. Kanika and Avery start back down the path to town, and you follow. Alright, we visited the church. So, what was that about? He seemed pretty insistent on talking to you alone. Yeah, he didn't say anything weird, did he? Tulips... Let's be straightforward. Tulips apparently made some weird imaginary friends. We might want to check it out later this week. Kids make imaginary friends all the time. Pastor Daniel says there's a rat infestation in the church and that the rats are her friends. I don't know, it seemed weird. Should have known we'd have to deal with a spooky kid at some point. Okay, as much as I hate going back there, I guess that's a loose lead. If we don't have anything else to investigate once we found Stella and... Kanika pauses. Once we've checked out the clinic, then maybe we can look around the church. Sounds like a plan. Let's not get too distracted until we find Stella, though. Where to next? Alright, I'm just thinking about what other voices I can do. So, let's go to Oscar first. We should check in on Oscar. He's smart. Maybe he'll know what to do. I hope nothing else happened after we all went home last night. You're so great for sleeping in that house after everything we went through. I'd rather sleep in the wood with a ditchling than someplace that was that haunted. Your mom said it's safe, and I'm inclined to believe her. Why would she lie? But how would she know that? Magic, probably. But there's only one way to find out. Let's go. Alright, now we're visiting Oscar. I don't know why they gave us this achievement that early. Morning light streams in through the library's large windows. In the bright daylight, it's once again a place of comfort, all menace having fled in the wake of Charles Shaw Jr.'s departure. No ghost, thank God. I was not up for an encore. Yeah, it's gone, just like your mom said it would be. You can't help but overhear the murmurings of an intense conversation coming from the mayor's office. Or rather, the murmurings of an intense animal conversation. Let's investigate it. You start making your way upstairs towards the mayor's office. Hey, where are you going? Ooh, a small gang of dogs holds court in the mayor's office. Most of the dogs quietly watch from the sidelines, but two of them, a sheepdog and a basset hound, are in heated conversation with Mayor Jimmy. Their tags read Scraps and Daisy. It sounds like you sorted all this out. I don't see what you need me to do about any of it. Sorted? These things aren't sorted until this town is safe. Now, we've got the beginnings of a militia together, but there's plenty of pets out there who are still ill-informed about those things crawling out of the woods. You're the mayor, they'll listen to you. Just tell them to stay inside until it's handled. Listen, Scraps, buddy, I hear you, but the last thing we need right now is anarchy in the streets. It's no use. I told you he'd be bullheaded. He's always bullheaded. Always the sore loser, aren't we, Daisy? Things are fine. Nobody has to worry about a thing. The mayor pulls himself away from the conversation to acknowledge you. Oh, ho, ho, I remember you. You that out-of-towner from yesterday, the speaker. The other dogs murmur amongst themselves for a moment, then turn to face you. I'm sorry you had to see this little display. Politics can get so messy. Good doggies! So you're the Scraps I've heard so much about. The one and only. This here is Daisy, and we've got a few other concerned locals with us, as well. Just making sure the cats and dogs of the Hollow are well cared for considering recent events. There are more of those things in the woods every day, popping out the innocent bodies of what used to be dogs like us. They're exaggerating, of course. Well, I've heard reports of creatures coming out of the woods. It's nothing the humans of this town can't handle. It's no secret that Daisy and Scraps are my competitors, and it's just like them to jump at the first sign of trouble as an opportunity to run me out of office. Nobody's trying to run you out of anything. We're just trying to keep the critters of the town safe. I feel so bad for these dogs. How very noble of you, but that's exactly the line you'd feed the voters if you were trying to get rid of me. Have any of you seen or smelled Gretchen? She and her person are missing. Is she missing? Oh dear, Scraps, you don't think? Gretchen's person would never let that happen to her. Wherever she is, I'm sure she's safe from those things. A dog like her doesn't get to be that age without a watchful human at her side. Even if she's safe, I don't like the sound of this. See, Jimmy, this is the cost of inaction. Gretchen is a pillar of our community and she's missing. What will it take for you to finally open your eyes and do something? If you wait until you're the last dog left in Scarlet Hollow, it'll be far too late to save yourself. Yes, I get it. You're all very upset. But what do you expect me to do about it? Shut down the town? What about economy? Do you even know what economy is, Jimmy? Or are you just throwing around fancy words you've heard the humans say? Again, I think I compared him to the mayor of Amity Island and Jaws last time we did this. If not, I'm comparing him to the mayor of Amity Island and Jaws now. Of course I know what economy is. I know all about economyism. Donald Trump 2025. Oh, good. Because I've never understood a lick of it. When humans talk about economy, I just figured it was a made-up word. They yell at each other when they want to stop talking. So please enlighten us. I'm not going to debase myself by playing a game of trivia. Not in front of the speaker. No, please, if you want to play a game of trivia, have at it. I hope so. To answer your question, we did catch a whiff right around here, and another near her house. Haven't picked up anything around town since then. Let's hope those creatures haven't already gotten to her. Can you help us find her? You've got better noses for this sort of thing. We'll do our best. We didn't intend to make any trips out into the woods, but if it's for Gretchen, we'll take that risk. She's a well-liked dog in these parts, been around longer than any of us. It'd be a blow to the community for her to fall victim to those monstrosities. Gretchen really admires you, Scraps. Oh, she flatters me, so I'm nothing special, just another dog. All the more reason to go after her before it's too late. Don't be so modest, Scraps. You're the kind of dog other dogs listen to. It's a damn shame the humans are so charmed by that charlatan. I'm right here, Daisy. I'm well aware. You think you're so high and mighty, don't you? It's because you can sit and stay the best, as if obedience is the best quality in a leader. Are you all some kind of dog militia? Did I hear that right? Yeah, I suppose you could say that. When the town's illustrious leader abandons his kind, it's up to us common folk to band together. Daisy, please, I'm not abandoning anybody, dog or otherwise. You are blowing this invasion story completely out of proportion. Everything is gonna turn out just fine. If everything turns out just fine, it's because the rest of us protected those who need protecting. And now I just gotta say, good doggies! Thank you, I appreciate the compliment. Ah, yes, I am a rather good boy, aren't I? You call me good dog? Daisy good dog? Daisy's tail wags excitedly before she begins her composure. Sorry, I just love to hear it. Aw, I wish I could pet them. Can I pet them? I'm gonna leave y'all to it. I'll leave y'all to it. I'll be going. Mayor's right. No, he's not. Alright, I can't ask to pet the dogs, but I can say, Mr. Mayor, you should listen to Daisy and Scraps on this one. There won't be anarchy in the streets to worry about if every animal in town is taken by ditchlings. Your opinion is noted, but I've been mayor for over 14 years. I know what I'm doing. That's 14 dog years, Jimmy. If you're not gonna help, the least you can do is not sniff the speaker's ass. I suppose you were right, Daisy. This was just a waste of time, but I needed to hear it with my own ears before I could really believe it. I'll save the I told you so for later. Let's go rally the others. This town won't save itself. You and the dogs exit the mayor's office and close the door behind you. They quickly turn a corner and vanish from your line of sight. You find Kanika and Avery waiting for you in the lobby. I took a peek in there. You just had a full-on conversation with those dogs. It is so weird when you do that. Weird or cool? I wish I could hear the other side of the conversation. It seems like there's a whole dog culture in this town I've been missing out on. Knowing dogs are capable of carrying a full conversation is going to make being a veterinarian really weird. You'll just have to hire Snowy Nerd as a translator. You'd be the best vet in the country with someone like that on your staff. I guess Oscar must be in the back. I know that's where I'd be if I finally managed to unhaunt my house. I've always been surprised at how unsupervised this place is. Sometimes it feels like anyone could just walk in and do whatever they wanted. Like what? Steal books? I mean, they could, right? I'm not saying anyone would. I'm just saying that people in this town trust each other a lot. It's nice. Let's go find Oscar. You make your way back toward the annex. Feels strange to be back here in the light of day, as if the events of the previous evening were all just a terrible dream. That hallway really takes me back. It feels like it was only yesterday that we were last here, blissfully unaware that our entire lives were about to change forever. Of course, that's a classic joke, because it was yesterday. It was only yesterday. I know. Kanika knocks on the door. Oh, good morning! It's so good to see all of you. Please come on in. You're doing really great, Rosalina. Not a lot of kids your age can take shots that well. You're being so brave. Don't have to talk to me like I'm 5. But you are brave. You really are, Rosalina. You're like so badass. Alexis is right. This is more than most people have to deal with in their whole lives, and you are taking it like a champ. Dr. Kelly's kind demeanor vanishes as she turns and glares at you. Oh, I see we have visitors. How are you doing, Rosalina? Tired. My leg hurts a lot. But the medicine is helping. It's not so bad now. Plus, I got to lie down in an actual bed last night, and you have no idea how good that felt. Thanks, Snowy Nerdy. I can't believe you got any sleep last night after all that ghost stuff. I just sat on the couch with all the lights on. I don't think I slept at all. I really needed some rest after, the hospital and my foot. Your body is desperately trying to get you to rest. All that activity yesterday was pretty brutal on your injury. It's never going to stop hurting if you keep punishing yourself. So what are you not going to do today? Anything? That's right. You're staying right here, no walking around, no investigating haunted houses. Sorry, Dr. Kelly. I should have been better at stopping her. I'll take full responsibility. As her father, I should have. No need for anyone to take blame for anything. It's the hospital's fault for sending her home at all. It's gross negligence, if you ask me. American healthcare! Woo! But give it time, then you can do all the activities you want. Alright, Rosalina? I will say, one of, the most timely, jokes, or not timely, but, the most everlasting or eternal jokes that SpongeBob ever told was when Mr. Krabs had no insurance, and they're like, he won't be able to afford this room, and they just push him in a stretcher out of the hospital and down a hill. very American healthcare, very prescient. But give it time, then you can do all the activities you want. Alright, Rosalina? I'm guessing Charlie didn't come back for an encore? Not as far as I know. I slept in Rosalina's room and I made sure to put some heavy objects on top of the hatch just to give myself a little extra peace of mind. But nothing happened. It was good enough for me. I didn't see anything either, but even if something did happen, I wouldn't know. I was asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. I'm too tired to worry about ghosts anymore, to be honest. Losing a limb will do that, especially if you decide to tromp around the next day like nothing happened. I would have been fine if it weren't for Charlie. Good thing he's gone then, and let's hope he stays gone. Wait, Kanika, did you tell Dr. Kelly about... Yeah, I told her everything. You did. I'm sorry that happened. Dr. Kelly's steel gaze, not glaze, I have no donuts in front of me. Steel gaze is impenetrable. It's impossible to tell if she genuinely believes Oscar's story or if she decided she'd be better off humoring him. How's Reese? He's fine. Had a rough night, but he'll recover. He's used to this sort of thing. He just needs a couple days to get back on his feet. That means no more excitement, not even a movie. Sorry to hear that, Dr. Kelly. But I want to see a She No Chi Deathblood. I was promised chilling Japanese found footage horror. Watch it on your own. I'm sure your cousin has a TV lying around somewhere in that big house. Why does everyone seem so chill? Shouldn't you all be traumatized? Just because I'm not in a gibbering heap doesn't mean I haven't been mentally scarred beyond my comprehension. I know I should be freaking out, but what can I say? Last night was fun, so I'm just going with the flow, seeing where this adventure takes me. Fun? Speak for yourself. I feel like the only reason I'm not in a total mental shutdown right now is that the crisis hasn't really stopped. This week started with a man dying, and it's somehow all been downhill from there. So yeah, I'm putting off the inevitable breakdown until I know things are done escalating. I don't think it's sunk in for me yet. I'll deal with whatever I'm picking up now in therapy when I'm 30. That's what grown-ups do, right? Yeah, it is. So, Dr. Kelly, you're gonna start poisoning her now, too? I'll do that option last. I want to stir some shit up. But let's start with, have any of you seen Stella since last night? Not since dinner. She hasn't gotten in touch with any of you? I'm starting to freak out a little. I really care about her, and she's just gone. It's not good. I haven't seen her since she ran off last night. I feel terrible. This is my fault, isn't it? I should have done a better job warning her, Stella was practically banging down your door trying to get evidence of ghosts. I don't think you were going to be able to stop her. There was no way you could have known how she would react when she found it. I don't think even she knew how she'd react. And besides, you didn't know how bad it was going to get. You can't blame yourself for everything, man. I know you probably feel like it's your responsibility to make sure everyone around you is okay, but sometimes that's just not going to be possible. You're only one guy. That's what Rosalina's always saying. I suppose I do apologize more than I should. You really do. Let's warn Dr. Kelly about the stone carving. We found something in Oscar's house last night. A stone carving that gave me and Tabitha a vision about what happened here. There was one in the mines the other night, too. Both of them had a sort of a pull on me. Whatever they are, there's something like them in your clinic. I felt it last night. Something awful is gonna happen at the clinic, just like something awful happened at Oscar's house and at the mines. Forgive me if I don't take your funny little feeling very seriously, but the clinic is safe. I understand there have been some strange events around town, but Reese and I have lived in the clinic for a long time, and we've never encountered anything. She glances at Oscar. Ghostly. There's no need to concern yourself with our safety. But if something does happen at the clinic, are you worried about Reese? If it's anything like what happened to us last night, he'll be fine. Some kind of ghost emergency happens, I can take care of it. So none of you need to come snooping around. So Dr. Kelly, you gonna start poisoning her now too? Let's stir some shit up here. Dr. Kelly's glare flashes into white-hot rage. Is there a problem, Snowy Nerdy? No problem, Mr. Gutierrez. He's just unbelievably rude. Seems to have a lot of opinions about my son's treatment regimen. We're done here anyway. Goodbye, Rosalina. Make sure you stay put and keep Pixel company, okay? Have I done her voice for Pixel? Don't worry, Doc. I keep her warm. I'm helping. I will. Bye, Dr. Kelly. I'll call later today to see how she's doing. Dr. Kelly turns to you, her expression hardening once again into her familiar glower. She storms out without another word. She's not gonna poison Rosalina, right? Don't worry, girls. Dr. Kelly's trustworthy. She's been everyone's doctor for years. What was that about? Dinner didn't go well last night. We'll let you kids have We'll let you kids have some space. Alexis, why don't you figure out a restful activity for you and Rosalina? Will do, Mr. Gutierrez. I brought some video games and puzzles from my house, and some movies, too. Whatever you want to do, Rosalina. Oscar ushers you back down back to the library. Oh, what's up? Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. At least much better than yesterday. I can't thank you all enough. I like to be as helpful as I can from here on out. Now that our little situation is dealt with, I'll finally have time to dig into the town archives. Our house was haunted because someone was murdered there. The mine collapse the other night was at the site of a mass grave. With enough research, maybe we'll be able to get a step ahead of the next crisis. Maybe we can actually preempt it. That is, assuming there's going to be a next crisis, but something tells me we aren't in the clear yet. We should compare notes. Not that I have any to start with, but if you know anything that might narrow down my research, it could save me a lot of time. I don't think we actually know that much more than you do, but I've got some hunches. I can't help but feel that there must have been some inciting event, since everything started getting weird seemingly overnight. What that inciting event was or where to start looking for it, I have no idea, but it's something to keep in mind. Avery stares at you. I mean, it's obvious, right? Things only started happening once Snowy already got here. And that is true. All the accidents so far have been related to my family. You're not wrong. Exactly. If there's a catalyst for all of this, why wouldn't it be a lost Scarlet finally coming home to Scarlet Hollow? If I may, Snowy already getting into town isn't the only major event that's happened lately. Pearl died over a week ago, and those creatures in the woods were already reproducing by the time he arrived. Not to mention, I started seeing things in our house before Pearl Ann passed, I think. I never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirit made itself known. If there's a root cause for all of this, hopefully there's a way to put the genie back in its bottle. I'm going to do my best to find out if there have ever been any similar events, and whether there's anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. Alright, a lot of options here. Those carvings I warned Dr. Kelly about are important. To think there was something like that under my house all this time, and to think someone must have put it there. But who? And there was one in the mines, and if you're right, there's one in the clinic. Maybe that's what I should be focusing on right now. Ooh. So it did say a cult was an option. How many of those things are there? If we're lucky, maybe just those 3, but I'd rather not count on it. Why don't we go down to the basement and take a closer look at the steel that's here? The ghost isn't around anymore, so there's no harm in it, right? I personally would rather not go back into that creepy basement, but that thing has to be the most solid lead we have at this point, right? Not a chance. I know the ghost is probably gone for good, but that thing is evil, and if there's even the slightest chance of going back down there to trigger something, it's not worth disturbing. At least, not until we know more. But what if this is our only chance to... My daughter's safety comes first right now. We finally have our house back, and I'm not taking any risks until we know what we're dealing with. I think Dr. Kelly is hiding something. Dinner last night was weird. I don't think we need to go around accusing anyone of being deceitful. No, Snowy Nurse is definitely right. I know that's probably not great to hear since Rosalina really needs her right now, but something is up with Dr. Kelly. I'm worried about Reese. She seemed pretty normal in there, even if she was a little terse with you two. She was pretty nice to Rosalina, I'd say. Yeah, she likes sick people and kids. People who are easy to control. I request we drop this line of thinking. We don't need to turn on each other based on pure speculation. Besides, she took me at my word about everything that happened last night. That has to count for something, right? Let's do work of some kind of cult. Because a symbol and then, you know, a small town, it could be a very, like, hot fuzz kind of situation. I wonder if this could be the work of some sort of cult. Ooh. Know any local cults that could be responsible? Let's not get all satanic panic just yet. I know it's not looking unlikely at this point, but having lived in this town all my life, I feel like I would know if there's some cult that ran the place. This seems like the kind of thing that wouldn't be easy to keep secret in a place as small as Scarlet Hollow. I'd love to be part of some weird religious cult just to see what kind of stuff they get up to, but alas, I've never been invited, or there are none to be found in the holler. I don't even know of any public record, even in the 70s when cults were a dime a dozen and hippies were flocking to the hills. I think Sybil knows more than she's letting on. Sybil, that's her name, not Ethel. I knew it was an ill sound at the end. Alright, now we're on the right track. I think Sybil knows more than she's letting on. She wants me to come talk to her today. My mom? But she's always been such a crystals and herbs kind of lady, not someone who actually knows about supernatural stuff. Still, she did seem really calm and confident last night. Weirdly so. I hate this. She did seem strange last night. She kept shutting down the conversation like she was rushing us all along, trying not to let us linger on the supernatural long enough to reach any conclusions. Still, I'm inclined to agree with Kanika here. If she does know something, why would she be hiding it? I'd be interested to know what exactly she intends to tell you that she couldn't be discussed in front of the rest of us. Whatever we're doing, I feel like we're missing a vital team member. We need to find Stella and fast. I agree. We need her brazen energy if we're gonna do any serious sleuthing. See you around, Oscar. Let us know what you find. I will. So that's Oscar. Any other ideas? I guess I got one more. Let's go. We should make sure the police know Stella's missing. The police situation is exactly what you would expect from a town the size of Scarlet Hollow. It smells strongly of coffee and faintly of aged furniture and paper. And the general tidiness speaks of a department that doesn't get much of anything done. But also, you're also not alone here. You enter to find a worried Bo standing between you and the officers behind the desk. Let me get this right. You're trying to report a missing pumpkin? Big Betty wasn't just a pumpkin, Sheriff Hugsby, sir. She was gonna be a prize winner. Raising her was the last thing me and my daddy did together. She's important to me. Are you sure it was Julius and not some enterprising bear that got a hold of it? Y'all know Julius thinks that land belongs to him. Probably thought Big Betty was his to take. He ain't coming to his door, so for all I know, he might be all the way to the state fair by now with our pumpkin. Ain't there something y'all can do about it? I'm afraid we'll need at least some kind of evidence to go on before we can go barging into a man's home, son. Why don't you see if you can find something a little more solid for us to go on? Then we can see about helping you out. Let's start with Stella. Ran off last night and she's still missing. She isn't at home and none of us have heard from her. She what now? Oh, that's just our Stella, always running off. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wouldn't worry too much about it. She'll turn up. This is different, Earl. You know I wouldn't be up here bothering you if it wasn't important. Yeah, for one thing, someone threatened her last night. He's been following Snowy Nerdy around since he got in town, too. And there are a lot of them things out there. Too many of them. Bo's right, she shouldn't be off on her own when there's so many ditchlings creeping around in broad daylight. Ditchlings? Snowy Nerdy taught me about them yesterday. They're them creepy little things that got my daddy. I called about them last night, too, since they've been coming up out of the woods, onto the farm. I even saw some on my way here, plain as day. Oh, we've been getting a lot of calls about those. Guess Scarlet Hollow has either been invaded by ghouls or we're all suffering some kind of mass hallucination. I may have even seen one or two myself. All the same, I don't know what we're supposed to do about them, or about Stella. She's a grown woman. If she wants to go off to the woods for a bit, we don't need to go after her like she's Miss Perfume. It's a free country. If they're critters bothering folks and stealing livestock, ain't y'all supposed to take care of them? Now, son, we ain't animal control. We're the police. Are you kidding me? This town doesn't even have an animal control department. Well, maybe it should get one. Are you folks part of a cult, and is that why you are doing your job? Just like, hi, are you part of a cult? Nice to meet you. Let's do that question last. Bo, did you manage to find your dad? Bo's stoic expression breaks, and for a moment you can almost see tears forming in his eyes, but he blinks them away. Yeah, I found him. You're that, Deputy Franklin? Sound like you got another report to close. Lucky me. I gathered what there was to gather. We're giving him a proper burial in the family plot. It's been tough going trying to dig the hole while the farm is crawling with those hairless things, but it needs to get done. Do you think they'll go back where they came from soon? Mom and me have tried to fight them back as best as we can, but it seems like there's more every minute. I'm personally doing everything I can to send them back. I'll do my part to help. I'll kick in as many of those nasty little faces as I can, but I don't know how many I can send scampering off. Seems like there's no end to those critters. What's all this about a pumpkin? Seems Bowie here has misplaced a considerably large pumpkin. Have y'all heard a word I said? I didn't misplace Big Betty. She was stolen. And I know who done it, so I'd appreciate it if y'all would give Mr. Tremaine a visit and set things straight. And I'm telling you, we can't barge into your neighbor's house just because you want us to. What makes you think Mr. Tremaine stole it?
You're poking a wasp's nest, Snowy Nerdy. There's 100 years of history here.
He's been claiming Big Betty was his since day one on account of he thinks it was planted on his side of the property.
The Callaways and Tremaines have been at this a long time. They can never agree on whose land is whose.
This ain't the first time we've heard something like this. And we get our fair share of calls from Julius Tremaine too. You know, Julius is a friend of mine. He's a lot of things and he's definitely a bit of a curmudgeon, but I've never pegged him as a thief. I didn't know Julius ever talked to anybody. Talk is a strong word, but I like to think we have some kind of understanding. You want me to go over there and kick his ass here? Let's ask what makes this pumpkin so valuable. Me and my daddy put a lot of work into that pumpkin. She was near 2,000 pounds, a guaranteed blue ribbon. Naturally, our first question is how an old man like Julius Tremaine manages to move a pumpkin. That is true. Move a pumpkin that size. How would he do that?
Makes the whole story just a little difficult to believe.
I don't know how Julius managed it, but I know it must have been him. He didn't even come into his door to answer for what he done. At the very least, he could give me seed for what's left of her. But you know what the last thing my daddy and me did together? That's interesting, because I haven't seen Julius since Tuesday. He's usually in the diner every day. Not necessarily a big deal for a lot of people, but he never misses his morning show. So maybe he isn't a thief. Could be something happened to him. If he ain't the thief, then who stole our pumpkin? It's me. I just don't think folks should be quick to jump to conclusions.
How do you move a 2,000-pound pumpkin?
I don't know how he did it, but he did it. You, sure it wasn't a bear? We're no bear. We're hunting folk. We know the signs. This was a man's work, and that means it was Mr. Tremaine. He knew just what to do to hurt a family. So that happened. If you're related to Julius, why can't you get along? You want me to kick his ass as the funny ass? Let's go with that one. Watch it, Snowy Nerdy. If Julius Tremaine shows up tomorrow with a busted nose, we'll know it was you.
I'm sure Snowy Nerdy just means that metaphorically, Dennis.
Daddy always told me violence only makes more trouble. It's better for me to come to the police when I have a problem with Julius, even if it don't make much difference. You know, even if Julius didn't take Big Betty, it might be worth doing a welfare check. Alright, let me speak in plainer terms. Everyone knows that Julius Tremaine's land is booby-trapped to hell. It's not worth it. That's never stopped me. Yeah, you have kids, Avery? Because I've got 2 teenage girls at home. Hugby's got grandkids. Franklin's got the mayor, I guess. I'm not about to risk getting my head blown off over a pumpkin.
That's right. There's some sleeping dogs you learn to just let lie. I've been Scarlet Hollow sheriff for over 20 years now. You don't hold a position like that for so long without learning a few lessons on temperance and moderation.
If I may, sirs, ain't that a mite bit cowardly of you? I thought police officers were supposed to be brave. Not the ones that live very long, son. Look, I've been to Julius 100 times. I can tag along and make sure nobody gets hurt.
That's a mighty kind offer, but let's give it another day. There's no need to escalate things when they might just resolve themselves.
Alright, last question. Weird question, but are you folks part of a cult, and is that why you aren't doing your jobs? The police officers stare at you perplexed.
A cult? I don't think we have that sort of thing up here.
We are doing our jobs. Just look at Franklin back there. He's filling all kinds of paperwork pertaining to what happened up in the mines.
You know, I can't say I appreciate your tone. Sounds like you're accusing us of some kind of indecency.
What do you think? We go up into the hills and do seances and rituals and all that sort of thing? Get your head out of the clouds. Alright, seems like you folks are busy. We'll be on our way. Alright, we visited the police. Why won't they just do their job achievement? Do you think Hugby and Derrickson could be part of some cult that secretly runs Scarlet Hollow? That'd be wild. I never suspected them of that sort of thing. Seems like it'd be too much work.
As someone who's lived in this town my entire life, there's no way. For one thing, cult activity like what you're describing just doesn't happen. I've done my fair share of reading on satanic panics and so-called occult groups, and it's almost always totally made up. People constantly freak out about Satanists without realizing they're just a bunch of debate club nerds who listen to heavy metal. That is true.
So instead of not being able to rely on the cops because they're part of a cult that secretly runs the town, we can't rely on them because they're just not good at what they do. That's so much less exciting. But either way, I guess it's up to us to solve the mysteries of Scarlet Hollow. We'll do a much better job anyway. Where to next? Before you say anything, you were interrupted by Kanika's phone buzzing. I was about to hang it up here, but let's see what Kanika's phone has to say. Oh my god, my mom's calling me. When is she gonna learn to text? Give me a second. Hey, what's up? No, there's still no sign of her. We were going to keep looking a while longer. I'm really feeling okay, I'm not. You're right. Now that you mention it, I do feel kind of tired. I shouldn't push myself. I'll come home. She has a point. I'm not feeling well right now. I've got to go back to the general store. Maybe some tea could help. Didn't realize you were that sick. This really crept up on me. I was doing fine until Kanika starts to sway, losing balance in her legs. I must have been running on adrenaline. She stumbles, bumping into you before regaining her balance. Oh no. Sorry. I just might need help getting home. I'll have some tea and maybe lie down, and then we can get back to looking for Stella. Yeah, shouldn't take us too long to get back. Come on, Snow, let's get moving before she passes out. Thanks, and sorry, this is embarrassing. Don't mention it. All right, we are at the general store. I think this might be a good place to end it. Yeah, I want to make sure that we are all set. Might divide this into 2 episodes. For one thing, I have other stuff that I need to get done. For another, I love doing these visual novels. It's very fun. My voice gets wickedly sore, and I can't do too much at any one time. So this has already been a lot. We have searched a lot of different places looking for Stella. Now we're going to talk to Sybil, not Ethel, Sybil, and kind of see what she has to say to us. And I feel like we might get some more answers and more plot direction. So I think right now is a good time to end it. I will go back to the main menu, kind of leave us off here. As always, thank you so much for watching. I super duper appreciate it. Make sure that you are liking, subscribing. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments. If you have any games you want me to play, leave them in the comments as well. Share with your friends and enemies. I will be back with some game very soon. I'm not sure if it is going to be another Lab Rat or another Me-Side or something else entirely. Usually when I do story-based games, I want to finish the story before I move on to something else. So the fact that I've got 3 stories, including this one, kind of up in the air, I might try to swing back and kind of focus on getting some of these done. So keep an eye out for some of that. In the meantime, just make sure that you are staying involved, staying engaged, most importantly, staying cool. I'll see y'all next time, but for now, farewell!